He opened up a Patreon and promised a lot of goodies like shoutouts for the calculators and names in the description. But Logan was at best a bit incompetent and at worst very shady on caring about the whole Patreon. Perks and prizes took way too long to drop. Some just straight up never happened.
Or at the very least, give the patrons an hour. Now Logan claims that the time is so short because he wants to make sure people don't download the video and re-upload it. The problem with this is the fact that I'm pretty sure people who are donating to Logan wouldn't do that. Who knows, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm right.
Logan would keep making excuses and getting tired the second we were about to do the shoutouts or something like that.
So worried about our channel dying that I wanted to have some income to be able to keep making these videos for you guys because I love you guys so much. I want to be able to make these videos for you guys. There's shoutouts, and I still have a lot more shoutouts to do now. To this day, there's still a bunch of shoutouts that I still have to do. But I'm making this video to explain what's going on. A lot of people say that they think that I scammed everyone, that I just asked.
It's through. Trust me, if people were looking for a Patreon where they're given nothing for their money, at least be upfront about it. Like me, go donate to my Patreon. Great, right? Well, the problem is for months Logan would not do any shoutouts, claiming everyone's voices just happened to get tired the moment they were about to do the shoutouts. Sure.
Realizing how much of a disaster this was becoming, he ended up shutting down the Patreon. A lot of people to this day think he just ran out with the money. Did he?
It's still a mystery.
I don't know. But Logan's biggest blunder to older fans was the whole SML movie fiasco. Going back in late 2016, Logan announced at the end of doing his video that he was going to make a full-length SML movie, like an actual movie. There was a lot of hype around the SML movie if you were there for it. To any Power Rangers fans watching, so none of you, this was the legendary battle of SML. The trailer would later drop that would shake up the entire community. Part of the reason why people were excited was that old calculators would appear like Tony the Tiger, Woody, Shrek, and last but definitely not least, Mama Luigi.
Mama Luigi! Yeah!
Calculators that haven't been seen in almost 10 years at that point. And the cherry on top, Logan was going to try to get back in contact with Zeke, the original voice actor of Mama Luigi. He got him back for a remake of Toy the Mistake, an old SML video, and our new fans didn't really care for this. Old fans loved it a lot, and it got them very optimistic for what's about to come. But then the SML movie got delayed. Then delayed again. Okay, but Zeke will still be around, right? Right? Well, he really wanted to join the cast and see how it would go, but not only would he have to take a break from his real-life job, he would also need Logan's full blessing and support so he could get flown out from Colorado to Florida, where Logan and the guys live, and stay there full time. He kept waiting for Logan to get back to him with full confirmation, but the longer he waited, the more his job was at risk. Since he needed to go back to the job eventually, he could get fired. Weeks went by and he hadn't responded, so yeah, Logan just ghosted him. Still don't know the definitive reason for why Logan ignored Zeke. Maybe he got cold feet about him being on the cast, or maybe he wasn't fully confident about the SML movie coming out, so he didn't want to put something that could potentially just be on ice. But either way, it was clear that Logan had no intention of calling Zeke back, so being filled with betrayal with ignoring him, he went over to who else but Dabhdude. In the stream posted around June of 2018, Dad would interview Zeke about the whole matter, and would spoil like half the SML movie.
Continuation of Jeffy's parents, where Jeffy's mom, whatever her name is, what's her name again?
I don't know. I forgot.
Chad, can you help us out?
Stupid? I don't know. Sorry, are you gonna
Nancy.
Nancy, okay, that makes more sense. Nancy doesn't sound like an ugly name.
It kind of does.
Not
Nancy? Trashy Nancy? Anyway, so he basically told me that Nancy wanted to steal Jeffy back.
Yeah. For the money.
And spoil some stuff about the cast members, like some of them smoking weed.
Cartoons with Homer Simpson smoking weed.
Well, at the time, it was probably really scummy of Logan just to ignore Zeke like that. Looking back in retrospect, oh boy did he unintentionally dodge a bullet. It isn't even the last time Logan would ghost a potential new member. He ended up meeting a certain YouTuber at a football game. Liking this guy's sense of humor and hearing about how he had issues with landing his feet on the job, Logan offered him a potential job on SNL voicing a character. He just had to get back to him. But Logan never followed through with this guy hanging. Now again, this was pretty bad back in the day. But wait, who is this YouTuber exactly? We dodged a very big bullet with that one. Like literally like a really big bullet. At the time, however, all of these actions, the Patreon, making fun of old fans, ignoring Zeke and EDP445, false promises about the movie date, all of this was enough for most of the old fans to completely shun him. Kashoa, another prominent SMO reactor next to GameCube dude, left because of Logan's scummy behavior, an increasingly toxic fanbase. Same with SMO reviewer, who was at one point the second biggest SMO reviewer behind Dabhdude. GameCube dude ended up leaving, and there were multiple reasons for why he left. Logan's actions were definitely a major reason why he wanted to move on. In the peak of all of this, Dab made a video called Logan the Puppet, where he gets a bunch of old fans and has them denounce Logan and say he's betrayed them for the new fans.
Increase in plush videos starting next week. But before we go, I think that there are a few others who would like to say some choice words to you, Logan.
I give up on you, Logan. You have shown your ignorance and you show that you're a slave of Jeffy. You make fun of us, the true fans, that know the truth, just because we know that he caused you to get demonetized.
Jeffy, he's not a good character. You need to know this.
It is a bit over dramatic, to say the least. It's very easy to laugh at this now, especially at how overly emotional some of these guys are getting.
On that for years. Goodbye, Logan. If you're even watching this.
But this does display how much of the goodwill Logan used to have was starting to go down the drain. But with half the community gone, that meant more space for that page dude. And because of this, a lot of people who were fans of those guys shifted over to Dab, and his channel continued to grow in 2019. This was the year where I discovered that page dude's channel. I think the SML Problems 2018 video was the first video I ever watched from the guy. And through that, I became a die-hard fan. His content really shifted my mindset on SML. I went from seeing Logan as a pure, sweet, harmless YouTuber to the devil spawn. I would watch every critical video he made on SML and Logan, his amazing reactions,
Hey,
and
great,
even trying
great.
to get into his non-SML content.
Are you
I'm not sure particularly why, but back then I was very drawn to negativity and stuff I liked. It's a weird routine where I would watch an SML video, then watch the myth, the legend himself, Chomps' reaction, then go over to that Patreon video to critically assess the video to see if it was any good. I don't know where chance he didn't upload his reaction. Like 1 hour after that SML video, I would go to a similar channel to see that take. I know this has nothing to do with the video, but I just want to say I was a big fan of the guy back in the day. But hey, enough about me. What about Dab over here? Well, things continued as usual. Dab's SML videos continued to get decent views, and his fanbase was growing day after day. When it came to SML itself though, despite losing a lot of its quarter fans, and there was a minor setback for the second channel Super Luigi Logan getting demonetized, having him move to a third channel, that barely did dent to his channel. It was still super successful, getting 1 to 3 million views per video. So I'm getting well over that. This is definitely SML in its prime. I remember a good chunk of my classmates being aware of the channel's existence and even being fans themselves. With SML reviews, the channel was continuing its downward spiral with rants on how terrible modern SML is still getting pumped out. Towards the end of 2019 though, things would change forever with SML. On November of 2019, a small video called The Human Potion would drop. Back then, it seemed like a nothing video. It would be the blueprint for the modern trajectory the channel would take in the 2020s. It showed off the puppet paintings for the main plush characters. It was soon revealed after that Logan wanted to make it a permanent change, and it was not received well at all.
Aspects like the bib, the beady black eyes, the ginger hair, and more, but it seems to look worse while it's being puppeteered, which is the problem with most of them. Logan said it would add more personality to the characters, but for some reason, once they're able to open their mouth, they seem to have less personality.
At least by the critical side of the community. The mainline side didn't really have a big issue with it at first. They were understanding like why this was happening. If you don't remember, there was this big threat of this thing called Copa, where due to miscommunication, people thought you actually had to pay a fine of $30,000 if you made a video that YouTube thought was for kids, even if you didn't intend it to be for them. To avoid any issues with this, Logan wanted to replace the plushes with the puppets. But when Copa turned out to be not that big of an issue for the most part, more and more people turned to hating the puppets. People like Math Dominus, Diggin, and of course Stab Hate Studio make videos on the puppets and wanted to talk about how terrible they looked.
Expressions. They can't really frown or grimace or be upset. They're just locked into whatever expression they were designed with. Now then, as for...
That was probably the most outspoken about the puppets though. There was this weird period of time where Logan would just switch between the puppets and plushes between videos. And anytime he used puppets, that would be the only thing Dad would focus on in the reaction video.
He literally just died one.
Come quick into the emergency.
Oh god. I hate it already. I hate this video again. It was going so well, and we made it like 4 minutes.
Of course, him to go on long rants on how bad they looked. Some would argue it heavily impacted his thoughts on the videos. I would say this is one of the earliest instances of people turning on Dab. Yeah, sometimes people would disagree on him on opinion with a small video in the past, but this is one of the first times a large portion of people shitted on him for an opinion. Though this was a small section of people, he was still heavily respected in the community, and at this point, 2019, he was the de facto SML reviewer. He was by far the most popular person in the community. There wasn't that much competition for SML reviewing now that GameCube Dude and Co were out of the community. The only other person in the reviewing game was somewhat close to that popularity was Math Dominus. But even then, you can tell he was kind of inspired by Dab. He would also make reactions and reviews in the same style as Dab. In fact, they became good pals at some point. The two would constantly talk to each other through the comments of Dab's videos and react to each other's videos. But they would also have these weird fights where they would make critical attacks against each other's content.
So no, the main problem never was the fact that people were hissing and saying, "How dare elementary school students buy SML merch?" It was
pretty odd. That was just part of the course for the SML community around this time, especially between 2017 and 18. Probably should have mentioned this earlier, but there was a lot of infighting in the SML community. This kind of just boils down to the fact most of the people in the community were kids and teens. So yeah, they're gonna get dumb fights. Remember that podcast I mentioned earlier of Dab with his friends? Well, that entire friend group fell apart due to a bunch of factors. I still have no idea what the hell was going on here, considering how obscure this was, and there isn't a lot of information. I guess relatively available information. I tried to watch this video that was supposed to be a summary of the drama, and I just came out even more confused. From what I could gather, it seemed like it was a bunch of arguing and half-truths and whatnot. They ended up having a live stream arguing on why they were conflicting. It's like 3 hours long. I don't even have that time. But judging from the comments, it seems like Dab's completely made out. He did a pretty good job keeping this whole thing under wrap to the mainline audience though. So again, this didn't do large damage to his career at the time. I would say around this time he was being hated by a lot of associates behind the curtains, but publicly he was still somewhat respected. This will come back later on in an even more confusing way though, so yeah, stay tuned. Anyway, besides math, there wasn't really that many other viewers that people cared about. Most of the others were more unprofessional and were not as polished as Dab or math. Things mostly stayed the same in 2020. As we all know, COVID happened that year, and while things mostly stayed the same for Dab, SML on the other hand, well, things got shaken up a little bit. With Chris, or Pooby, or whatever you want to call him, voice actor Cody, Welcome to You Guy, and other characters quarantined for a good while. A lot would say the quality around the time dipped even more than before, and yeah, I have to agree. I really don't know that many videos from the server. You can definitely tell this was when they were starting to run out of ideas. Video repetition became a lot more common than before. You also tell this was when Dab was feeling the most hopeless about the state of SML, and his actions came more bitter, filled with snarkiness, and yeah, I don't really care about it anymore energy.
I think, okay, last bit. I think the worst part is Logan, you know, just when he's about to rebound and finally improve and, you know, quite possibly get himself, depending on who you ask, back into a new golden age or whatever, like, you know.
Alright. SML movie. Jeffy's future. I don't have anything to add, except it starts on the red couch like every single video that I can recall.
Then again, watching reviewing SML videos for like 3 years straight consistently was bound to burn anyone out. Towards the end of 2020, Dab made his obligatory SML problems video. It's not all that different from his previous SML problem videos, just another 20 minutes of him talking about the shortcomings of modern SML. But towards the end, he mentions how much faith he's done losing SML yet again, and is really approaching quitting.
2017 problems, 2018 problems, 2019 problems, and now 2020 problems. That's 4 years. Any improvements that have been made have seemed to be either brief or coincidental. I'm literally approaching quit now levels.
Keep this in mind for later, I guess. Oh yeah, I probably should mention this earlier when I brought up the puppets, but Dab would make a few videos talking about the puppets, and in the first one, the puppets problem, I mentioned in the middle of it about Nintendo and their relationship with SML.
Logan's content, and trust me, Nintendo knows about the content. It's hard to miss when Logan has several million subscribers. Maybe when he had less than 1 million subscribers, he would have been able to fly under the radar, but now he's definitely been noticed. In fact,
and completely shut down the idea of Nintendo having a relationship with SML existing. Oh, so I put a pin on that. Going into 2021, things mostly continued as usual. His channel was still doing pretty healthy. In fact, his most popular SML video ever dropped that year, being his SML Iceberg video. It's easy to see why it did so well. Iceberg videos were at their absolute peak around that time, so mixing it with his bread and butter was a recipe for extreme success, which looking like this will be very good.
Oh no!
So yeah,